It's true, bamboo bedding is dreamy to sleep on. That's why Quince aptly named their Bamboo Dream Quilt Set. Coming in 12 colors, you're absolutely going to love this quilt and 2 shams set. Starting at the softest of pinks and going all the way to a dark navy. It's going to be perfect for anyone's room. Your own, your guest rooms, your kids' rooms, maybe even back to the dorm bedding. Quince has everything you need to elevate your space, from bedding to soft organic towels, airy curtains, and premium kitchen tools designed for everyday use. And of course, as you know, Quince has gorgeous cashmere and other wardrobe essentials. And the best part, Quince's products are half the cost of similar brands. They partner with top artisans and cut out the cost of the middleman, passing the savings on to us. Thank you, Quince. And they only work with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, so you can feel good about your purchases from Quince. Elevate your space with home essentials from Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT.
Are you sweaty? Stay tuned.
Our decorating is classic and timeless, as is our advice. So today we're sharing a classic DTT episode from the archives with you.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Style it.
It's so true. You don't want to sweat the small stuff. We show you how to style it. It's going to be great.
Yeah, because those small things, they're fun to do and don't require a big budget and usually can be done rather quickly. So I think this is a great fun one to kind of focus on these small little things that you can do in your house.
Okay, so yeah, you guys, the design is in the details. And the details can be very small, as details generally are, inexpensive, and easy to do. And these things done right can really take your decor up a notch or two, adding personality, charm, and style. And isn't that really what we all want in our houses? And we want to be able to do it without spending a whole lot of money. So we got a lot of ideas today.
Yeah, and a lot of times these little details, they're really the things that people notice. They're really the things that kind of really kick your house up a notch. So I think they're definitely worth focusing on.
Yeah, and it sets it apart. It's a little something that sets your look apart from something you might see in a magazine or something you might buy at a store and just come home and put down. If you just tweak it a little bit. So one thing that I really like to do is when I hang a mirror or a picture, it doesn't work every single time. But if you have some room, what I like to do is add either a chain or even some twine or some beautiful ribbon to the top of the picture frame or to the mirror. And then, bring it up. And so you're creating sort of this triangle in effect from the top of the item and then the two pieces of ribbon or twine or chain. And then affix it to the wall that way. Now, I may not have that chain or ribbon or twine be the thing that's actually holding it on the wall. I may have it attached to the wall by the type of hardware that's on the back of it. And this is just decorative, but it just adds another element. And depending on what you use, it can really add a lot of personality. So I have my medium to large size mirror hanging in my kitchen at the base of the back staircase. And I added black chain to it. And that just kind of like gives it a little edge. You can then hang something from that. So on the chain, I have this sort of raffia style, twine-ish, large tassel hanging. And I just love the way that looked. The mirror is very simple. It's an old vintage black frame that's a little bit chippy. And this adding the chain and adding that tassel just makes it so different. It also adds like another almost 10 to 12 inches to the whole piece. So, taken all together, it even takes up more room on the wall. So it really extends the profile of the mirror, if you will. And I love that. I've also done that in another spot in my kitchen, I have hung another mirror, but I just used regular twine. And I'm actually hanging that mirror because it's not very heavy from the twine on a nail. And then from that nail, I happen to have, it's probably like maybe 5 or 7 skeleton keys that I found around the house when we first moved in. They probably went to the doors originally. And I was like, what am I going to do with these? They're small. So, to spread them out somewhere or, put them in a jar, I would have to collect like 100 more for it to really look like anything. So what I did was I just did like a little finger braiding of the twine. You know how you could do that? Did you do that when you were little? Like you just kind of loop it through and you kind of braid just a little piece of the twine. And so I made that like a little ring for these skeleton keys. And then I hung them from the twine that's holding up the mirror. So again, it's just adding this interest to what's going on with the mirror.
I think that's a great idea.
Are you following me on all that?
Yeah, and I've certainly done a similar thing with the ribbon on a mirror before and a chain. And I've actually used the ribbon on artwork as well, not just on mirrors. And I think you mentioned a very important key. In most cases, I would not use the ribbon.
I did mention a key. That was funny.
I wouldn't, when you're adding the ribbon, I would not use that to actually hold the weight of the picture in most cases. I would just use that for decorative. I would hang it like you would normally hang your artwork and then just put an extra little nail in there to kind of hold the ribbon in place.
Yes, unless it's very lightweight, particularly if you're using ribbon. It just kind of makes the ribbon not look so great either because it's all stretched out. So then you can't really get it the way you want to do it. But, just imagine that. Say if you had a very plain mirror. Now, if you use some sort of like chain, it's going to give it, more of a maybe an industrial look, a little harder look. And then imagine if you used sort of some pink velvet ribbon or something like that. Would give the mirror a completely different look. Give that installation, if you will, a completely different look.
Oh, yeah. And here's another small thing that could be done that's pretty inexpensive is to find some beautiful paper and wrap books in it. And these aren't books that you're going to be referencing where you need to see the name of it on the spine. These would be books maybe that you're using as risers sitting out, or maybe they're in a bookcase, but they're not really books that you read all the time. But I think that would be beautiful to find some beautiful wallpaper or other just decorative paper to wrap around the books. And sometimes people use burlap on them.
That's a very good idea. I like that idea. I'm just sticking with sort of the tassel, something hanging from something else. Tassels, like they were really in for a period of time, many years ago. They sort of.
No, I think they're making a comeback.
But that's what I'm saying. They're making a comeback, right? So a little bit more of an adornment. So they're easy to come by. They're also really generally pretty inexpensive. Even if you went to a specialty decor boutique, you could probably get a tassel for, $10 or $8 or something like that. And, you're like, oh, it's a little piece of string kind of, I'm spending $8 for it. But here's the thing. It has such an impact in your decor, for that $8. If you hang that, say, from your newly refreshed china cabinet, the knob or the handle, or from a break front from the hardware. What a difference. Like I found this little cameo at a yard sale, estate sale, and it was just, again, too small to hang on the wall by itself, even too small to be in a gallery wall. So it's kind of like, what are you going to do with it? And I was like, what am I going to do? Well, then I just happened to glance over to that china cabinet that I painted that's in my dining room. And I thought, I think that'll look pretty great hanging from there. So I put it on a long black satin ribbon and she hangs there. And I love it. And it's just the perfect spot because you almost can't miss seeing it, even though it's small, because it's so sort of, front and center in my house. So, and I have a small boxwood wreath hanging there with her. So I just love it. And so that's so easy. And you could even make your own tassels. It's not hard to do that.
But there's some beautiful, beautiful ones I've found out and about. And I do put them on my little keys For antiques that have a key, I love to have a pretty tassel on them. Or if there's no key and it's newer, I just put it on one of the knobs or something, or on one of the poles. Mm-hmm. I think that adds so much. So here's an idea, and I actually love doing this. How about gold leafing something? And it's really a fun process. You have to paint on the stuff that the gold leafing attaches to, and then you put the gold leaf paper on, and then, it's pretty fun. But you have to be very careful because it just can disintegrate in your fingers. But it's really a beautiful look. And I wouldn't do some big piece with it, but maybe just some trim, and then you kind of tape off the area where you don't want the gold leaf. But it's a fun thing to do. It's a fun project.
Now, do you find that it's a big difference between using just a little gold paint and doing the gold leaf? Like, is the ultimate look very
I think
different?
it looks better than the old gold paint. I do.
Okay.
More but, if it was a big, it is. But if it was a big area, but some of that gold paint is pretty nice. I mean, it really just kind of depends on how close you're going to get to it, how much you're going to be seeing it. If you're not going to be getting that close, I don't think you're going to notice it.
Is it really gold? Like
it used to be
gold?
It used to be. They don't make it out of gold anymore. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's just super thin. It's kind of a fun project if you have lots of patience. Maybe I should put that in there.
But I'm thinking like a pair of candlesticks, something like that.
Well, or maybe just some of the trim on the candlesticks.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Maybe. Like just sort of like,
right.
Lots of times they have, some sort of carvings or something like that. So you would just maybe do the raised parts or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I think that would be fun.
I'd like to try that. I've never done that.
I think you really should try it. As much as you like gold.
Yeah, right? Come on. I can't believe I haven't done that yet.
I'm kind of surprised myself.
Okay. I'm on it. Get yourself a whole bunch of little bud vases and fill them up all over your house. And when I say bud vase, they don't have to be bud vases. They don't have to be, Waterford bud vases. They can be anything.
How about little liqueur glasses? Those are great for bud vases.
That's a great idea. Shot glasses even. I mean, that's super tiny, but I could definitely see like a little sprig of phlox or something like that in a little tiny thing. And just put them all over your house.
Egg cups too.
Egg cups. That's a good one. Just have a whole bunch of them and then just find cute, tuck them in, on your bathroom counter, maybe by everybody's bedside, and just clip a few things. If you clip greens, I mean, it'll be a couple of weeks before you have to do anything as far as changing them. Hey, we'll be right back with the rest of the show, but keep listening so we can continue bringing you DTT. I can't stop using dupe.com. This is an amazing website, service, best friend. I absolutely love it. So you find something that you really want and it's too expensive. It's a budget buster. Then you use dupe.com and you can find almost the exact thing or very similar products for much less. So I was crushing on this incredibly gorgeous coffee table. I had it in my mind. I had it in my Pinterest boards. I had it everywhere, but I just didn't have it in my house because it was too expensive. When I learned about dupe.com, that was the first product that I tested. And boy, did I find some amazing dupes. And I purchased one. So the original was almost $3,000. And Dupe showed me many choices, all the way down to under $200. Now, you may think something this extraordinary is hard to use, but it's so easy. Just type dupe.com / before any product URL in your browser, and boom, it instantly finds you less expensive alternatives. They even have an app and a browser extension you can download. No account required, no sign up required. It's completely free. That's completely free free to use. Stop wasting your money on brand names and start saving with dupe.com today.
Yeah. Now, this one does require a little bit of wiring, but I love this idea. And I did do this at our house before we put on the Ring doorbell. Is a beautiful doorbell on your front of your house. There's so many pretty ones, and it's not that hard to change them out.
Oh, yeah. That's a nice idea.
Or let's say, so if you have the Ring, you can't use this. But let's say you don't want to fool with the doorbell for whatever reason. What about a pretty door knocker to put on your front door? There's so many pretty ones.
Yeah, I was actually thinking we were going to do a door knocker. I found one that was in the shape of a bee.
Well, that would be perfect.
Yeah, but then we went with the ring. But yeah, I mean, I was thinking maybe I would still get it anyway. I mean, you could still see the people on the ring.
Put it on that front door. I think it'd be pretty. And use one of your wreaths around it.
Yes. Finials, lamp finials is another thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes they come with a lamp and there's just nothing too much to them. They could just be just those little plain little caps. So you could do something really interesting, or you could get a really good glue and you could glue something that you love, like maybe a little tiny something or other that, again, kind of like my cameo would get lost someplace else in your decor on a bookshelf or something. Like just a tiny little thing. And then you could just glue it onto those plain topped finials and make it really interesting.
You know what? Interestingly enough, since you're saying this, it reminded me, I've seen people take plastic toys like elephants and things that are meant to be for little kids and spray paint them gold and glue them on things to make them into book holders and things like that, bookends. And I'm thinking you could even maybe find some little toy soldier, paint him, spray paint him silver or gold and glue him on for a finial.
Stop it. I love that idea. I mean, I have all the Disney princesses, like all the little tiny things. I don't know that I want to use those, but that would actually kind of be really funny in my, kind of charming in my daughter's room because, they loved those so much. And then if I spray painted, Belle and Aurora white maybe and put them on the top of their lamps.
Yeah, you better check before you spray paint them. Then you might get some blowback on that.
Oh my gosh, one year I have to tell you. So we had them in every form you can imagine, from video to costume to plastic figurines to dolls, to everything for many years. And they each got a set of them as Christmas ornaments one year. Mm-hmm. So can you imagine how excited I was, not only to have, 8, but 16 of them. Oh, and yeah. Yes. And then when we were doing the tree, I don't know, it was a
Did you drop one?
No, they were plastic. They were completely indestructible. Okay. But it was a blogger moment, and it was not a highlight of my moments as a mother. But
what happened?
I took all of those gals and I put them in the back of the tree. And I'm pretty, in defense of myself, I think it was because I did have to take some photos like the next morning, and I thought I'll come down and take the photos, and I don't want to take all the photos of, these Christmas balls I'm supposed to be writing on my blog about. And then in the background, I see Jasmine, peeking out from one of the branches, or, Snow White. So I forgot to move them back. Oh, I had so many tears. And Ava was completely indignant. She had little hands on her hips and she was like, Mom, this is our Christmas tree too.
Oh, yeah. Make you feel really bad. Well, I mean, yeah, but you can just kind of move them for the pictures and then put them back, I suppose.
Well, which is what my plan was, I think. Mm-hmm. But I just conveniently
let's just give you the benefit of the doubt there.
Like, how long? But now your finial idea is just brilliant. I love it.
Okay. Well, if they get mad, you didn't hear that here.
Aunt Anita told me to spray paint them.
Yeah, right. Thanks for that.
I gold leafed them. Okay, so how about? Oh, you go. How about?
Okay, lining the back of your bookcase with wallpaper. Wouldn't that be fun? I have the idea to do it. I just don't have the
wallpaper,
the energy to do it. The time, I don't know.
Well, that's like one of those things. Like it requires finding the wallpaper and then measuring and then spending a couple hours doing it. But the day you decide to do it, you'll be very pleased.
But doesn't it sound good?
Well, it sounds transformative, is what
it does. It does.
Yes, it does. It really does. And then you could wrap some books in the matching wallpaper and put them elsewhere in that room. And you're creating the flow that we all like so much.
See, there you go. You need to come here and do it.
I love pretty hand towels in my powder room. There's so many pretty ones. We have pretty ones of 100% European linen ones with the ruffle edge. And you know what? What a difference. They're less lovely. And like linen, all linen, they improve with use and age and washing. Kind of like us, you know?
Well, I hope so. I hope we improve with washing too. That's interesting to throw that in there.
Well, did we start out by being sweaty? So we might need to do that. It's all making sense
I just
now.
said it. I wasn't really sweaty. The linen towels, I think, are great in the bathroom, in the kitchen as well as in the bathroom. But interesting, you were saying that. I had that on my list as well. But I also had a cover for your tissue box. The options out there, there's a lot of ways to cover that tissue box. Everybody's got them. They're ugly. You don't want to look at them. So I think it's a great way to add a little detail to just get a cover for them.
Yeah, you know, that is one of those things that you just like, oh, really? Do I need that? Like maybe if you got the whole bathroom set, you would, you know, when you were initially doing your bathroom, maybe you would buy it. But it does make such a big difference. And my kids love to use tissues. They're everywhere. And so I do get that smaller size box. And you try to pick out the ones that's kind of going to go, but then none of them really go.
No, none of them. Look, I don't know who's designing those, but I have yet to find one that I actually like. And then the other thing is, if you don't want the linen cover, I mean, the other thing you can get are the Florentine boxes. I use those all over my house as well in the bathrooms. And that's another great way to cover them. They're more the longer box cover. They're not the square ones, but the flat ones.
Yes.
But it's just an elegant look. And so, you know, I mean, and I think if you're into decorating, you're into covering up these things that, you just don't want to look at.
Yeah.
And, you know, so the other thing I'm thinking about, and we did the episode on cords, on covering up all the, you know, I think it's called Wireless
Close
is
enough.
a Lie. Oh, here it is, episode 295.
Oh, wow.
So we talk about covering up the cords and how to hide those. So, and that's a small thing, but boy, it really makes a difference if you're not having to look at those cords.
Oh. For sure. How about this? I did this maybe Christmas time. I got rid of, for toxic reasons as well, but for aesthetics too, the plastic spatulas and plastic spoons, you know, for stirring and whatnot. I was thinking to myself, like, heating that stuff up in a pot of tomato sauce or something like that can't be so good. So I switched all to wooden.
Good for you. And it just looks so much better. And I think I was talking about how I switched to the wood and the bamboo brushes for my sink because I just thought they were so much nicer to use than those ugly plastic ones. So yeah,
they really are. And then you can have them out, you know, you can put them in our, you know, I would say signature white pitchers or pitchers and, you know, leave them where they're accessible and it's easy. And then you're adding pretty storage. You're adding something also decorative. So you're getting the whole shebang there. Okay.
Well, and didn't you have to have the whole talk with your family, the things sitting out, the pitchers where you have the wooden spoons? If there's a plastic spatula, don't put it in there. Did you have the talk with your family? Because I did.
No, I just got rid of them all.
Oh, well, okay.
There's no choice. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm pretty
gone.
close to being rid of them all. So there you go.
Yeah. Right when I was going to get rid of them all, then one of them got like weirdly melted, which doesn't seem good at all. So I got rid of that.
It's amazing how that happens, isn't
it? Okay, this might be a little over the top, but you know, bear with me. You guys understand me a little bit now after all these episodes. I don't like shampoo and conditioner that don't match my bathroom.
Yep.
Okay. I really don't. And sometimes it's just really hard. We're now, you know, trying to detox. And I have to say, a lot of the organic products have very loud packaging, which you would think they wouldn't. We used to always use a more universally known brand, and it had a very, very fine. It was fine. It was white, you know, fine, black writing, looked fine. I have a glass shower. I don't want to walk in the bathroom and see extra stuff. I don't like that. People having like, oh, I have 3 face washes. No, one face wash at a time or whatever, like, and take the razor out with you. And, so I'm very careful about those things.
And only one shampoo, one conditioner at a time, not 3 bottles upside down.
Yes,
no, I can't deal with that.
Okay. I mean, and I knew
I'm with you.
I know at least you would be in my corner with me. I'm sure there's a lot of other people. So I decided, and obviously you're not going to pour them into glass, but I am going to find reusable plastic containers with a pump because now they've committed to this. I tell them we have to go non-toxic with our shampoo because all the toxins are soaking into your scalp and we have to do this. And so I said, we'll go to Whole Foods. Let's pick something out. So they were smelling and trying and said they bought, and of course it's the most garish looking yellow and green and orange and like a big palm frond on it because it smells like coconuts. And it is a lovely shampoo, but it's a really, really bad label. So I think I'm going to just pour them in there and just get the big size. And I won't have to do it that often. Do you think I have time in my life for this?
I know. And I've done the same thing because my family insists on leaving the dish soap out on the counter. So there's a couple brands that have really pretty containers. And so I kind of, even if I'm not using that one, I pour it into the pretty container.
Oh,
so it's sitting out.
Yes.
Yeah. And but the same thing with the hand soaps and in the shower. Yeah. But you're right. You can't put glass in there, but there's some pretty containers. Some of the brands have the pretty containers. And if you had a pretty container, I mean, I wish we could stop, having to buy all these containers that we're throwing out. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to buy it in bulk in a big bag where you just kind of,
right.
You're not having all this
and
trash.
Fill it in for me. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Now
bring the truck up here and fill everything up. Yeah.
I don't know how. Yeah. We're not there yet, but maybe. I mean, you can get like nuts in bulk. I don't think they give you shampoo in bulk.
Well, how about this? And I know from a design standpoint, a lot of us are not crazy about ceiling fans, but I live in Texas. You have to have ceiling fans here. It's just, it's not an option. You just have to. It's hot.
Yeah.
But the string hanging
you don't want to get sweaty.
Yeah. No, I don't. Well, what about a pretty pull on there? I've seen some really beautiful brass ones and bought some to hang on the end that you pull on, the pretty chains that are on them.
Yeah, that's a nice idea.
So that's a little small thing that you can do.
Yeah, well, that's what we're all about, small things today. Small. How about curtain tie backs? I don't have too many curtains or drapes in my house that I tie back anymore. Most of them are just like hanging, straight down. But I don't
use those anymore.
Well, I did in my bathroom for the water closet. I have a curtain because there's just no room for a door, and instead of doing like the tie back that comes with the rod and all of that, I just used some chain from the hardware store, and it looks really cool.
Oh. What about changing out the switch plates in your house too?
Oh, when switch plates don't match, I'm sorry. I'm going to notice that.
Yeah.
They got to match.
And I know we've talked about this before, but it's a small little thing, changing out your lampshade.
Oh yeah. But this is what today is about.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. I think that's the way to go. Knobs, handles, hinges. We just recently did a hardware episode. We can link to that. So, that, again, small thing, big impact. How about a pile or stack? I should say that sounds better than a pile. A stack of coffee table books that are either, linked to something that you're interested in. Maybe the spines are in the colors that you like, or they're seasonal, something that you sort of change them out. But that's just a small thing to put out in your living room or your family room. And you'll enjoy what's inside, but also it has a big presence. Just think of how many designer rooms you've seen in magazines or on websites where they have coffee table books. Almost every single one of those living rooms has a stack of 3 or more coffee table books. So if you don't have coffee table books, give it a whirl.
I think that's a great idea. And the other thing I was thinking about is a really pretty robe hook for your bathroom. I actually have some that are Scotty dogs in a brass finish, and they are so cute. So there's really some pretty ones. I mean, there's no reason to use something boring. There's so many beautiful pieces out there.
I love pillows, but there's a certain shape that I am drawn to more over than any other shape. It's the small 12 by 16 pillow. I love that size pillow. And it can make such a difference on a small chair or on even a dining chair, like the ones at the head of your table. To put one of those, it's kind of, it's a small rectangle, so it could be considered a lumbar. They add a lot of comfort to a chair, but that's the kind of little pillow that can be some kind of pop color or really fun fabric, or if maybe that's where you put the Mongolian fur. Great place to put the fabric that you love that's too expensive to get in draperies or too expensive to even get in big 20 by 20s for your sofa. Maybe you can get half a yard of it or something like that and have a small pillow made. I think they made such a difference. So you put them on a little accent chair. Goes a long way.
Well, and what you're saying too is get some of these beautiful fabrics or some nice finishes, and then you can add them in smaller doses, and it's going to be a lot more affordable. Like I love a simple pillow, but a pillow with a ruffle, to me, it's just twice as nice. So, if you have a pillow, you can always add ruffles. Most people don't sew. So, maybe change out a plain pillow for a prettier pillow that's got a monogram on it that has a ruffle or some other embellishment. Maybe it's got a eyelash fringe around the outside. Just something to give
a little eyelash fringe.
I know. And then what about changing out your trash can, your little, and I'm not talking about the one in your kitchen maybe that's plastic that's under your sink that you don't see. I'm talking about the one in your study or your bathroom or your bedroom where you just have a small little can for tissues or whatever. Why not put something pretty in there? Or maybe think about using something that wasn't traditionally used as a trash can. It's just something a little different.
And I have been known to use things that are trash cans as lampshades.
Well.
We might just go into depth on that in our lamp episode, which I think we've promised to do at some point. Yes. So you can turn them upside or downside and, use it for whatever strikes your fancy. Okay. So I think we should move on to our crushes. What do you think?
Okay. I think I can do that. I think I could be persuaded.
All right. Okay. I'm going to go first today. I have been watching a show on BritBox. I think I told you guys about BritBox, and it's this service. I honestly don't know what it costs per month, but I don't think it's more than like $9 or something like that. And so you can get access to all this British programming. And there's a show on, it's called For the Love of Dogs. And I guess the host is some sort of comedian or he's some sort of celebrity in Britain, but I was not familiar with him. His name is Paul O'Grady. He's an older guy, but he's kind of funny. I mean, he's slightly goofy, but you could see he's just definitely got, this charm going on. And he apparently loves dogs and has 3 dogs of his own, but he goes to the Battersea dog and cat shelter where they take in 10,000 or something like that, dogs and cats a year to find, help them and find homes for them. And it's so darling. And they tell you all about the dogs and where they found them. And, sometimes they have to nurse them back to health, and it's only a half hour. And then 9 times out of 10, the 2 or 3 dogs they've been following in the show, all get adopted and everybody's happy. And it's just such a it's such a lovely show. I find myself smiling. It's just, Peter's been traveling, and so I'll get into bed with Emmett and Edith. We watch it together. And they bark when the other dogs bark, and they get excited. And I guess, there's just no commitment. It makes you smile. And, a half hour later, we're turning it off and we fall asleep. And, it all feels good. So I suggested, if you have BritBox, look for it. It's called For the Love of Dogs.
I am going to have to check that one out. That sounds like my kind of show.
I think Molly might like it too. Yeah.
Oh, I know she would. I know she would. So my crush is, you know how we talk about all the time about the importance of dimmers on your chandelier and on your lights in your rooms? Well, I found an extension cord with a built-in dimmer that you can use for your lamps. Hello? Hello? Are you still there?
I'm completely speechless.
So I'm going to link
to know more.
Yeah, it's just an extension cord, but it's got the little dimmer switch on it.
So any kind of light bulb that you put in your lamp, it'll dim?
Yes. Well, it says it will. I'll link to it.
Gosh.
I haven't bought it yet, but I'm going to.
Because, I'm on the borderline of despising every light bulb that's available on the market now.
I know.
Even my pinkies that I loved for so many years, somebody's did something to them and they're not the same.
I know. They've been messed with.
No, because those Sylvania pink bulbs are not the same bulbs that they used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Anita, this is earth shattering. This is very good news.
Oh, good. Because your silence, I thought, oh no, what did I say?
No, I started to actually I'm reeling back and forth, trying to take in the information, how wonderful this was, that this product exists. Well, thanks for hanging out with us today. This was lots of fun. And we got really down into the nitty gritty details of your decor. Remember, we're here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time. Want to talk to us? Well, we really want to talk to you. So let's schedule a design consult. Anita and I are here to give you individualized, actionable advice on how to create the beautiful home you want and deserve. It's so easy to schedule a design consult with us. Simply click the link in the show notes or head to decoratingtipsandtricks.com/consult. When we talk to you on the scheduled time, we will be ready with so many great tips, advice, and yes, tricks. So sign up today for a design consult. We can't wait to talk to you.